In our previous video, we talked about how messages about race impact children. Today we're going to talk about how race impacts people of various peoples of color. Important note, this video was written by Mai Lee, who is of Hmong descent. Although I am speaking from a position of privilege, my words are being guided by somebody who experiences racism and other forms of racial oppression on the daily. Differing cultures tend to have different ideals and stereotypes as to what the ideal attractive person looks like for various genders. However, we as the culture within the United States tends to be an exporter of our culture, primarily, through things like TV, advertisements, movies, video games. Along with these come the messages that we send out to ourselves, and they can be picked up upon by cultures around the world. For example, we tend to think in America that the beauty ideals for women involve slimness, being rather tall, for women large breast size, clear skin that is free of acne, and well done hair. And along with this, one that we don't always think about is the ideal of whiteness. So not just for white people, but the lightening of hair and skin color among people of color has been a growing trend throughout the world, in India, in China, and other places that have a lot of contact with Europe, the United States, and the rest of the global north and the west. Have seen increasing advertisements and preference for lighter-skinned celebrities from their home nations. Some facial features that resemble Western ideals, and various other physical attributes. So, although there are many still differing stereotypes, people in American Samoa tend to have a standard of beauty that values larger bodies. It values other things, and these are sent via things like their parents and families and various customs and rituals within their culture, rather than our own media standards. We use the example of Fiji, which saw an increase in things like depression and eating disorders once American television and media were introduced. In television and movies, specifically, there's often various stereotypes based on certain races. For example, think of the East Asian person who happens to be the best at math, who plays various instruments, and depending on their gender is something like very submissive or not dominant, where the Asian men are seen as more feminine and less macho, and the women are seen as either submissive or as tiger or dragon ladies. And so African American women are often portrayed as sassy or angry or various other sexual stereotypes that just... Some of the other impacts on self-image include the desire to change their body through extreme measures, such as plastic surgery. An example of this is one of the most popular plastic surgery procedures in South Korea is surgery to change women's, or people in general, is surgery to change eye shape. And rhinoplasty. Versus white people, the most requested surgery types are liposuction, breast augmentation, and wrinkle removal. So facelifts, things like that. The important thing to remember is that there are seldom complex portrayals of people of various races in television, movies, and the media in general. People of non-white races are often relegated to a one line or one single character trait portrayal, usually involving some nasty stereotype that should go without saying is not true. Again, if you are struggling with an eating disorder, depression, or anxiety, or any of the other negative mental health impacts that we've talked about in our previous episodes, please check the links in our description. So, have a nice day.